What you up to? Who's your good girl? Who's your good girl? What's going on over here in Chicken Land? Have we survived the winter? Have we survived the winter? Of course we have. Hello, Broody. Have fun, guys. Morning, everybody. Happy Sabbath, Shabbat Shalom. Happy Saturday. Hope you all are finding rest and peace on this beautiful day. We've got a crystalline scene. I don't know if you can tell, if you can see that way back there, but there's frost on everything. Oh yeah, there's frost right here. Just beautiful. There's barely a breeze. And creation is just singing this morning. I had a thought. I wanted to put out a video. I'd like to do. I know some people enjoy these videos, and I'd like to put them out in a way that I can keep them shorter. Kind of make the point, you know, the My Father Milk House, and it's so easy to explore the scriptures and dig in hard, you know, because you've got so many translations and you've got so many errors and you've got so many doctrines and all this stuff that you're trying to like bust through and get to the truth, you know, even getting into trying to find out the Hebrew. Oh, well, you think, okay, you're a Hebrew scholar, you're the authority. Okay, well, you know, so which Hebrew are you reading? Are you reading, you know, the Sephardic Hebrew, or are you reading Ashkan? You know, are you reading Kassarian? Are you reading this region, that region? Which text are you using? Are you using a Masoretic text? Are you using, you know, a Karaite text? A Greek? Oh, okay. Well, get what Greek? There's common Greek and different types from different regions, different dialects, and getting to the bottom of that is hard, you know. And I realized, as a person, you just don't. I don't have, you know. I've listened to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lectures. When I decided that I needed to find the truth over and above the man's dogma and doctrine that I'd been listening to, and I had made John Nelson Darby and his philosophy and C.I. Schofield and all these other guys. I had made them my God, instead of stepping back and going, my Almighty, you know, Elohim, you know, my Yahweh is my God. The God of my father Abraham, as Paul would say in Galatians, is my God. And he is the author of truth. And he is the father of Yeshua HaMashiach, the sent one, who is his kindred son, who is the visible aspect of our Holy Father, and who came down from heaven. Never have been a man. He was cloaked in manhood. He is the bread sent down from heaven, right? He's come from God, right? Before Abraham was, he was. So he wasn't just a Jew, although the salvation came to the Jews chronologically first, following the great sin of the golden calf when they breached the covenant. And he had a fellowship with us back with Abraham. You know, he called him his Elohim, and Hagar had a name, the God who sees, and he had some different titles and stuff. But men had seen him in the flesh until finally he came down for a specific purpose, and that was to finish the job of bringing the promises of Abraham back, to leapfrog us back over the times of the law and the times of the priests of Levite, the Levitical priests, back to Exodus 24:11, when the elders of Israel had fellowship. But on this Sabbath, I just wanted to throw out a simple Sabbath message, and that is that the Sabbath is not a Jewish day. Jesus is not a Jewish God. He is the God of all creation, the God of every nation. I should say Yeshua is the Son of God, with God, okay? He's the King and crowned victor, according to Romans 1, of every nation. And the only way to Yahweh the Father, the invisible Spirit, the author of all truth, is through the Son, okay? Whom all things were created through and by. So, Yeshua has everything to do with the gospel and the Sabbath, as Yahweh does, and it is not for a Jew, it is not for a Greek, it is not for anybody in specific, as we are all to be grafted into the vine of Jesus Christ. So, the Sabbath is not Jewish, and the Jews are not any closer to God than any Gentile is, because all have sinned, okay? But we want to have fellowship, okay? So how do you have appropriate fellowship with Yahweh? Well, the first thing is, fellowship breaks down when you start disobeying the commandments. Fellowship breaks down when you start disobeying the house norms of the Creator, who created the book, created the universe, created the earth, created you, and then the first thing he did was dedicate a day. So if you're disobeying and disregarding the Sabbath, then you're breaking your fellowship. An easy fellowship that you could have, because the Sabbath was meant for us so that we could have fellowship with him. So let's first of all, let's establish a baseline. The Sabbath was before the Sabbath was before any religion or doctrine. God saw, this is Genesis 1:31. God saw that all he made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening and morning, and that was the sixth day. Chapter 2, verse 1. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed, and all their hosts. By the seventh day God completed his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. Then God blessed the seventh day, sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made. This is the account of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made earth and heaven. So, first of all, the Sabbath was created literally the seventh day of creation. And he takes it very seriously, so much so that he had to put it in the instructions. Now, when we say the commandments, they're house rules. In the same way, you would have your children obey the house norms. And you'd have kind of a top 10. Like I had a top 10 in my place. Every household kind of has a top 10 or so of the rules that you just don't bust because dad will get mad. Now, the fourth commandment happens to be on the top 10 of what Yahweh considers really, really important. And it's not just that he wants to, tear you up for breaking them. He wants to give you some really strong, linear, borders so that you can operate within this. Because, like, if you have the basics, right? Vince Lombardi always said, if you're going to blow the game, you're going to blow it by not following the basics. So you pound the basics. You shall have no other God before me. Honor your mother and father. Oh, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Don't steal, don't covet, don't bear false witness, love your neighbor, right? So that was Yahweh, right? And then Moses put it in writing. Yahweh asked him to put it in writing. So he did. Remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy, etc. And then Jesus, he kept the Sabbath, right? Very specific. And he ministered on the Sabbath. He healed on the Sabbath. He showed us how the book of the Torah, of the book of covenant and promise, how you operate within it as a priest. Not like a slave like the Jews were at the time of the book of the law, and they were doing their Levitical ordinances and declaring themselves righteous by these ordinances, and the washing of cups and saucers and spoons and tithing, and I'm righteous because I do this. I'm righteous because I do that. I'm righteous because I do this. There's no power in the book of the law. The power is in placing your faith in Yahweh and in his son, Yeshua, John 5:24, for life. And then life comes into you, and then through that life, you can walk out the book of the Torah, the book of the covenant, and enjoy fellowship, true fellowship with Yahweh, through the obedience of the commandments while walking in life, right? Blessed by him. You're not walking within the law for justification. You're walking within the faithfulness of Yahweh for justification. And in sanctification, you are walking out your faithfulness to him. He pledges faithfulness to you. You pledge faithfulness to him. You walk out these daily walks, and then you're given these index points to help you be guided. So, and then Paul was very specific about the Sabbath to the Gentiles. Now remember, Paul was preaching to the Gentiles. The Gentiles, all that means is people that were cast aside for false worship. What you have to understand is you will always worship something. Atheists worship themselves. Different people worship things. Okay? Some people worship their religion. Some people worship Paul. Some people hate Paul. Some people, most people misunderstand Paul, don't even know what he was talking about. But for one thing is, in Colossians, he was saying for us to pay no attention to the commandments of men, but pay attention to the commandments of Yahweh, right? So, So he says in 2:8, be watching out that no one captivates you through philosophy and empty deception according to the tradition of men. Okay? And then goes on to talk about different things. But he finishes by saying, therefore, let no one be judging you on eating and drinking, whether partaking of a feast or a new moon or the Sabbaths, which are a reflection of the things to come. And the anointed one is the reflecting body. So Paul was talking to new converts to the anointed one. And he was saying, don't let them judge you because you're keeping the Sabbath, you're keeping the feast, and you're paying attention to what you eat. You're following the anointed one. That's Colossians 2:16. It's not like someone I was talking to somebody, and they said, oh, well, you can't judge me if I don't keep the Sabbath. Colossians 2:16. That's the opposite of what he said. Paul isn't saying that. Paul is literally talking it's a letter to the Colossians who were in a pagan society, who were having other holidays and feasts, and they were dragging on these guys. It's like, why are you keeping the feasts of the Jew and all this other stuff? And why are you holding the Sabbath? And why are you paying attention to the new moon? And Paul's saying, don't worry about it. Don't let anyone defraud you, delighting in false humility and superstitions of angels and all this other stuff, getting puffed up and fleshly in your mind. So the Sabbath was really important to Paul. So it was really important to Yahweh. It was really important to Moses. It was really important to Jesus. It was really important to the apostles, to Paul, all them guys, James, Peter. Even the writer of Hebrews talks about a coming Sabbath in Hebrews 4 to those who are faithful to the commandments. Now the Sabbath in Hebrews 4 is a promised Sabbath of a future resurrection to those who are holding faithful to the commandments of God. Not the book of the law and ordinances and, tassels and kippas and all this other stuff, but the promises of God found from Genesis through Exodus 24:11. The things that Abraham did, the things that Noah did, the things that Isaac and Jacob did, they held to the commandments of Yahweh that were given in Genesis to like Enoch and Methuselah. And we can too. It's a blessing for us to be unburdened by the sin of this world, the sin of syncretism and lawlessness and man's traditions and false worship and false praise of things you don't understand, and mixing a pantheon of gods and traditions with the worship of the Bible. It's freeing to escape that. The simplicity of the gospel is that Yeshua came down to ratify the covenant made with Abraham and enable us to be adopted into his seed and enable us to have a quality relationship, relying on the faithfulness of Yahweh and pledging our support and faithfulness to him, and then giving thanks in all things. So I pray you guys have a blessed day. You'd enjoy your Sabbath. And I don't know, I hope the weather's as beautiful where you are as where I am, because I'm staggered by this. So, love y'all.